Hey everybody, if you clicked on this video, then chances are you consume a lot of chess content. And if you've been watching anything in the last several months, you know that cheating has been a huge topic of discussion. And that's what I'm going to be focusing on today, because I just played somebody whose account got flagged for fair play violations. So I'm going to be showing this game. I had the black pieces in this, the cheater had the white pieces, and he just absolutely crushed me with the London system. I felt absolutely helpless. I felt like there was nothing I could do, and it kind of gives you like a good system to play as white. But honestly, you probably have faced cheaters yourself, and you probably know how it feels. So before we jump into it, I do just want to say, I think it is important for anybody that makes videos on the topic of cheating that they always try to make it into some sort of positive experience. So I hope the takeaway from this video is that you should not cheat. And I think that goes without saying, and I hope everybody is on board with me. But when you cheat, you're obviously like, you're just making it so that other people don't want to play the game, and you might be pushing people out of the game, and you're really not gaining all that much from doing it. So it's just not something that I really comprehend. And I will say that I think I am particularly naive, because I at no point ever suspected that my opponent was cheating. And it was only at the end of the game, because the game ended suddenly. It was like in the middle of the game that it just ended. And then I went quickly to the profile and it said, okay, you've been flagged for a fair play violation. Then I'm like, okay, I guess maybe they were cheating. And I kind of want to review the game now. I haven't even gone over it yet, but I'm going to include the engine so that you can see it. But I just want to say, don't cheat. That's it. That's the main message of this video, is don't cheat. If you do, you will get caught, and you're not doing anything. If anything, all you're doing is like preventing people from wanting to play chess, which I don't know why that would be your goal, but whatever, just don't cheat, please, please. Hopefully my viewers don't cheat. I do also want to just mention real quick that this game was not played on Lichess. I'll be using Lichess to analyze the game because I feel a little bit more comfortable with it, but this game was played on a different website called chess.com. This is where we played it. This was the opponent that I played, and here's the game. At the end of the game, chess.com gives you a little report. My opponent played with 97.6% accuracy. I played with 84.1% accuracy. And at some point, the line just kind of steadily went up. My opponent crushed me. But then it ended during the game. I went there. It says his account has been closed for a fair play violation. But I also just want to mention this was not played on Lichess, but rather some other website. Also, I got a lot of people challenging me right now, which hopefully doesn't happen because that goes right over the engine. But anyways, let's get to the game. This is me playing as black, going up against a cheating London player with the white pieces. And the game opens up with d4, knight to f6, knight to f3, pawn to d5. And now comes bishop to f4. Now, sadly, I was not recording this game because I wish I had my reaction to like figuring out that my opponent got banned, but I wasn't really in the mood to play anything wacky. I wasn't gambiting. I was just kind of playing on my own offline, just minding my own business, when all of a sudden this crazy thing happened. So I'm just going to actually play one of the main lines that usually leads to like a boring equal draw when I play with 2300s that are not cheating. When it's somebody around my level, I would expect to kind of make like a normal draw. But after e3, I play bishop to d6. So far, I don't think there's anything particularly interesting. Now comes knight to e5. And this by itself is not like a big surprise. This is the fourth most popular move. I have the master's database open so that I can kind of see as we go through. But you can see bishop g3 is most common. There's some knight here. There's some bishop takes. But this is a very serious move, and a lot of very strong players have done it. And here in the master's database, you can see it's nothing particularly weird or wild yet. And it's something that I've definitely encountered in the past. So nothing I would think is like particularly out of the ordinary. I get castled. They play bishop to d3. I play c5. Now they play c3. They develop kind of their triangle system. And really nothing is particularly weird about this up until now. Knight to d2 is very logical. I go here. My plan is, I'm not playing my knight to c6, but rather I'm going to play b6. I'm going to put my bishop on b7. And then at some moment, I maybe hope to occupy the e4 square. That's basically the premise of my play so far. But nothing is particularly weird. However, now he goes to f3. I play b6, kind of per usual, but now my opponent comes up with a novelty, and it is the top engine choice. So I have the master's database open. There's 4 games in this the database. If I go over to the Lichess database, which I can share with you as well, you will notice that castles is most popular. There is this move h4. It's a little bit less popular, But perhaps the takeaway of this video, if you're looking for like a positive chess takeaway, is that maybe you should consider the move pawn to h4 here, because during the game, it felt very strong, and white is about to go on a massive attack that really was hard for me to defend against in a blitz game. So I would encourage people to look at this. It's a strong move. It's engine recommended, and this game will probably make it feel like white can just crush black easily. And I do just want to point out at this moment, I've played similar positions to this in the London like many times against people my own rating, and what almost inevitably happens in every single game is my opponent castles, which didn't happen here. And something like the following thing will happen. We'll get some sort of massive trades, we'll get a bunch of stuff, they'll try to go here. I feel like I've had similar positions like this, where we just trade, black is able to equalize, white probably can play e4 or c4 at like some moments and everything's fine. But usually I do this. This is what I expect to get when I play the London, and then I just like expect to complain that it's really boring and why are my opponents doing this, and complain about it. However, if you want to spice it up, check out h4. This is a fascinating move. So now I'm a little bit more curious at this moment what the computer is going to be saying for the rest of the game. I played bishop to b7. My opponent played h5, which is the top engine choice. I played h6, which is also the top engine choice, trying to prevent white from coming all the way down and creating some sort of weakness here in my position. Interesting now is that g4 is most popular. I'm also looking in the database, and it says it's more popular. But my opponent played queen to e2, which I think also just popped up there at some moment. I don't think it doesn't need to necessarily match every single move, but I think we're kind of seeing a pattern start to emerge. I played knight to e4, which is apparently a pretty big inaccuracy. Please stop challenging me. I'm making a YouTube video. I should make it so that people can't challenge me during YouTube videos. But now my opponent is actually able to kind of exploit this move, and it's not easy at all for me to have seen during the game. Usually putting the knight on e4 is like the typical idea. I guess what I was meant to do is to start getting some sort of counterplay on the other side, either with a5, which, I don't know, could lead to a bishop trade at some point. Maybe the point is just to keep marching on. It looks like it goes a5, and then your next move is to play here anyways. But this move is just bad. It just turns out to be, like, not good, because white has a very strong follow-up. White is able to remove this bishop, and the idea, apparently, is that after I take back, he will be able to play knight to e5, which is now getting out of the way of his queen so that his queen can come into g4. I can now see with hindsight that this is the idea, followed by f3 and removing my knights. And this is going to lead to a very powerful attack for white. So probably I should just take that knight now. But I went to c7, and my opponent plays queen to g4, which is the top engine move. Now, I mean, I'm kind of proud of myself. If I'm playing an engine 15 moves in, it's only +1. That surely is not too bad, but I'm thinking to myself now, I'm in this pin, so I assume the threat is to play bishop takes h6. I'm a little bit worried about that. So I play king to h8, but more than anything, it feels like I should have some counterplay somewhere. I feel like completely stuck. Like I'm never going to be able to kick this knight away because his knight would be hopping into g6. I'm never really going to be able to open the position because probably he's going to take this way, and maybe he'll castle queenside, maybe he'll stay in the middle. I don't really know. But it also, another point of h4 is that this guy is going to at some moment come in, especially after my knight has been kicked away. So it just feels like I can't do anything, and I'm going to have to play very accurately just to survive. Now, the opponent does play rook to h3, which, curiously enough, is not one of the top choices. f3 right away is given by Stockfish on this site. There's also a3 and rook d1, a lot of kind of weird moves, but rook h3 makes a lot of sense. I played rook 2 here, which is apparently a very, very bad move, and maybe I've allowed a bunch of nasty tactics, but I'm just kind of seeing in my head, like, at some point, this is going to become a target. I'm constantly worried that there's going to be some sort of sacrifice that I'm going to completely miss. I guess rook to g8 also maybe allows this as kind of a tactical idea, which is the second best way to do it, with the idea that, okay, he could have... I guess he's not winning, he is winning material. So, like, wait, that's not even the idea? The idea is that he can take here? Look, I'm not a computer. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to a lot of these tactics, but there's a lot of stuff and it's all bad for me. And rook to g8 is my first like serious blunder of the game. Opponent plays f3, which is top choice. I go back to f6, which is very logical, attack the queen. And I will admit here that I was a bit curious. I was looking at kind of a funny line. He plays the best move, which is to drop the queen back to g3, and I think that's pretty clear and straightforward. During the game, I was wondering if he could go here, which is kind of a silly idea. Computer says it's just a draw. I just wanted to check for myself. I did see this during the game. But then I wasn't sure if he would just go here and it would be a draw. Maybe he can take the bishop first. But at some moment, I think this is just like some draw. I don't know. Just a personal curiosity I was trying to figure out for myself. But of course, he plays the stronger move, which I think most people would play anyway. Drops the queen back to g3. And what am I supposed to do? I'm so trapped in. I want to start doing something, but it's just not easy. I take here first. I don't know, hoping he takes with the c pawn and maybe I can get some sort of activity. How do I bust it open? How do I do anything? And here I just kind of, I feel paralyzed. I don't know what to do. There's no like logical way to improve my position. Computer suggesting knight going back to e8. Whatever, and then there's some tactics that are just happening. I played pawn to b5, and I was just kind of hopeful. It's not a very good move, but maybe he takes, and then maybe either at some point when this is defended, I can play queen to b6, or I think I probably would have started with rook to b8, like if he took, which is not actually very good. I guess not because of rook to b8, but rather because I would have been able to take this knight first, and then maybe there's queen b6. I guess that's the idea. Then followed by queen b6. So taking the pawn is wrong, but not for like the reason that I saw it. I'm just kind of desperate for any counterplay. Like, just open up the b file. Give me any chance to do anything. I just need a rook over here. I need a queen over here. I just need some open files. But no, I don't get any of that. My opponent plays an insanely accurate move. Knight to g6. So this maybe should be like the first red flag. Look, it's obviously a tactic that I guess you should be considering, but I don't think there's like a super obvious follow-up. So I take the knight, obviously. I didn't know if he was going to sacrifice a bishop and take with his queen, and like I didn't know if there was some tactic here. All you got to do is remove my knight and then I'd be checkmated. I didn't even really know what to do, but apparently this, just loses. But no, he takes back the bishop first, which is correct. Now I need to move my queen somewhere. I stay here, which I guess what was better, going to d8. And then he takes with a pawn, which once he played this, it felt very annoying. So he's just sacrificed an entire piece in order to have this super mega strong pawn. And I guess it's not like immediately obvious what the follow-up is for white, but I'm super paralyzed and crushed. And I think he just slowly castles. He slowly brings his rook in, and then he's just gonna sacrifice his piece here. And like, I'm just gonna get crushed, but like, I don't even know how. Like, I'm going to get crushed, but I don't know how. And that's just kind of like a horrible feeling. Usually you get it. You're like, oh, I get it, because there's a battery and he's gonna line up and he's gonna checkmate me. Here it's just like, I'm vaguely going to get checkmated. This is just, oh God, it's horrible. It's just not good at all. I tried e5. Again, just a ridiculously desperate move. I'm just like praying that after he takes back with anything, and I thought he'd probably take back with a bishop, but he takes back with his pawn. I thought I could play rook here. This is some desperate cheapo. Maybe he doesn't realize he's pinned and I can take his bishop. But this is actually the position where the game ended. It just said that my opponent resigned, and then I went and I looked and it said that he's been flagged for fair play violation. Now, obviously he's just gonna get out of the pin. I'm just like completely hopeless. My opponent probably is going to castle. He's probably gonna bring this rook over if the game continues. I still don't know how I'm gonna get mated, but I'm clearly against a computer just gonna get checkmated from this position. So feels kind of bad, but moral of the story is please don't cheat if you're watching this video. If you watch any of my content, please just don't cheat. It's just not fun, and you're gonna get caught and you're ruining it for other people. That's all I got. Let me know what you think. Subscribe.